prosperity. I loved the tightly knit, God-loving family units depicted on the Waltons and Little House on the Prairie. These families forged their own path, using their ingenuity and bare hands to make a living, never forgetting what matters most is not what you have in your life, but who you have. I learned this lesson personally when my home was bombed and nearly every material possession was taken from me. I went from having maids to eating dandelions that I would dig out around our bomb shelter when the bullets and explosions would subside for a while. I went from having a chauffeur drive me to school to being driven to and from school in a military tank, which could fit myself and 15 other children inside. Some days, I had to run home from school as fast as I could, and I routinely dove into ditches as bomb shells exploded and bullets scattered the ground near my feet. In an act of desperation, I remember using my books to cover my head, hoping they would offer me the protection I needed to spare my life. My school began to function as a place to learn as well as a bomb shelter. A bomb shelter needed at least 2 roofs, so when the explosion penetrated, the second roof would dramatically decrease the number of casualties. Still, in spite of having almost nothing, I had everything. The things that truly mattered were right next to me in that shelter. The unshakable bond and faith in God that we shared as a family, the values we lived by and were willing to die for, and even learning to reject hatred and forgive our enemies for the evil that they did to us. I loved how shows like Chips and Hawaii Five-0 combined adventure with humor and portrayed the American police officer as a figure to be respected and admired. Shows like Happy Days depicted the small-town American utopia in which I could only dream of living. And there was always an important life lesson in every episode. That was the America to which I dreamed of coming. Those are the Judeo-Christian values that came to fruition to form the greatest nation the world has ever seen. America became a larger-than-life world that represented a larger-than-life country where nothing is impossible with perseverance and hard work. America had no boundaries. It was just a wide-open world where the sky is the limit. America represented all the values I grew up with, but captured them in a way no other country on earth ever had before. America, where have you gone? They don't make many shows like the ones I watched growing up anymore. Instead, we have the chaos of Real Housewives, the self-absorbed materialism of the Kardashians, the racial politics of Blackish, the vulgarity mixed with political propaganda on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and the list goes on and on. Judeo-Christian values are the fundamental building blocks of Western civilization. Freedom, family, faith, and fortitude all help provide the infrastructure for the benefits we reap today. But these principles that helped shape our nation have been slowly eroding, leaving us vulnerable to catastrophic internal collapse. Abraham Lincoln said it best when he noted, "At what point shall we expect the approach of danger? By what means shall we fortify against it? Shall we expect some transatlantic military giant to step the ocean and crush us at a blow? Never. All the armies of Europe, Asia, and Africa combined could not by force take a drink from the Ohio or make a track on the Blue Ridge in a trial of 1,000 years. At what point, then, is the approach of danger to be expected? I answer, if it ever reach us, it must spring up amongst us. It cannot come from abroad. If destruction be our lot, we must ourselves be its author and finisher. As a nation of free men, we must live through all time or die by suicide." Just like the Roman Empire before it, America, mighty as it is, can self-destruct. But this process will likely not happen overnight. Even if our destruction were to occur in the blink of an eye, countless warning signs have preceded it. The Catos and Ciceros of Rome predicted the empire's collapse nearly half a millennium before its actual fall. They knew that as they shifted from republic to empire, the consequences would be fatal.